have to leave no one behind. Even the Malawi 2063 that we're talking of inclusive wealth creation, we expected that the allocation was supposed to be much better, maybe $1 billion kwacha, because if you are talking of a constituency being given 200 million, a constituency maybe would represent to almost less than 1% of the population. And 11.6% of the population is being given less than 200 million. What are we doing? In addition to that, we are also talking of issues of the economic empowerment, National Economic Empowerment Fund. We would have loved that the National Economic Empowerment Fund had a specific scheme for persons with disabilities, because as of now, as we were celebrating last year that the National Economic Empowerment Fund has actually managed to disburse about 100 billion. At that particular time, less than 1% of the money that was spent, less than 1% of the beneficiaries were persons with disabilities. So you're talking of a population of 11.6%, but less than 1% of the beneficiaries being persons with disabilities. Are we really being genuine in our efforts to make sure that no one is being left behind? So let's make sure that we have that particular specific allocation for persons with disabilities, so that we are really deliberate that no person with disability is going to be left behind. There has also been in the Affordable Input Program that kind of a notion that says only productive citizens are going to benefit from that. But most of the times, for the implementers of that, it is construed that persons with disabilities are not as productive. More especially where you're coming up with a point that persons with disabilities will benefit from the social cash transfer. And in those kind of cases, even persons with disabilities are being left behind. So what we're saying is that it is important that because we have so many persons with disabilities in the communities, in the rural areas, that are quite productive. If you are going to ask programs like Pride, Trade, Farms, they are going to tell you that persons with disabilities are as productive, even much more productive than the so-called persons without disabilities. So it is quite important that persons with disabilities also be targeted in the Affordable Input Program, and would propose a 5% of the program to be targeted towards persons with disabilities. And even the other social protection programs,
please be winding
deliberately
up now.
Targeting persons with disabilities.
Please wind up.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, I think that's quite very clear. Contributor number 2.
Thank you very much for being given a chance to speak. I'm Brian Kampanje, Minority Shareholders Association of Listed Companies, but I will also be speaking in my own personal capacity. I believe that the inflation issue must be seriously addressed, because as we are dealing with the issues of budget, if the inflation comes in, then all what we have budgeted for is off track. And in dealing with inflation, the first aspect is on Forex. The shortage of Forex is pushing inflation upwards. And I would recommend that the government of Malawi must seriously think about using the rand. We are, I don't know whether I may call it obsessed with the dollar, but there are a lot of things which we can do using the rand. And how do we get the rands? We have got Malawians in diaspora in South Africa, and every month they are sending their remittances. We could use those remittances by mostly telling them to deposit their money in South Africa, so that we can be importing things from South Africa where we have readily available rands. their relatives or whatever they want to do in their money in Malawi, they can get it through the banks. What we are doing is we are enriching the money transfer guys. I don't want to mention them, but those who are, you see that there's a boom of people who are in business of transferring money to Malawians from South Africa. That shows that there's a lot of money in South Africa. And in fact, the biggest portion of remittances coming in Malawi is from South Africa. And it appears we don't have a policy, deliberate policy, to ring fence and use those runs. We could even be importing all government vehicles from South Africa because there's Toyota, so whatever companies in South Africa, we could be doing that. And that would lessen the pressure on our dollars. Now, on issue number 2 is on the agriculture. We seem to be so much focused on the inputs. It's now maybe the best time to focus on the output. How much do we want Malawi to produce in 2025? Do we want 5 million metric tons of maize? From there, we will now have better methodology. Methodology comes from the output, but we are focusing too much on the input, which is taking too much of our money. And if we focus much on output, we can develop a better financial system, futures market. That will enhance price discovery. How much should maize be sold in October? We could be dealing with those things today and say in October, maize should be 700 kwacha per kilogram. So the producers will make their mathematics, but they will not be able to run away from their contractual obligation. They will be able to fill the silos at 700 kwacha per kilogram. That's what we need to do. Number 3, we need to seriously tackle the black market economy. Malawi has a very big black market economy, because if it wasn't for that, then a lot of people would have run away from Malawi. But in fact, there is a reversal. There are more people coming in, meaning that there are a lot of opportunities in Malawi. If the black market economy is controlled, then the problem we are talking about, the parallel market exchange rate, would be gone. Because it's the black market which is fueling the parallel market exchange rates. And there's also a lot of taxes forgone. Only very few people are being taxed. If we could just be able to go out and say, there was a presentation made from the ICAM where they're saying even when you want to buy a vehicle, there must be KYC. How did you buy this vehicle? Because all that most of that is in the black market economy. So if we could be able to control and suppress the black market economy so that everyone goes into the normal economy, our GDP figures, our economic figures, or our economic projections could greatly improve. The more taxes we collect means the lower sovereign debt we will have. Government will borrow less. But as long as money is speeding or not being accounted for, that is putting too much pressure on our exchange rate, and the government is borrowing more.
20 seconds.
Lastly, I'll talk about the mining. Mining, we at Misaliko are so passionate with mining. Very few, I think some few days ago, there was a video clip circulating on the social media showing the Kasia mine, how rich Malawi is. A lot of people were so surprised, but some of us haven't been surprised. We've been going to similar offices, and in some of the offices of the people in front, saying there's a lot of opportunities in mining. If we can be able to project, maybe even put it in the annual economic reports, to say in the next 5 years, Malawi must have this target, and we must put it in dollars, as the BAM presenter had said, we should be in dollars. With the mining, let's have two currencies, the kwacha and the dollar. I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister. That's a very interesting aspect that we have been discussing at the office, collateralizing future earnings of our assets. So that's very interesting. I was expecting your neighbor to speak more than you. Thank you so much. Number 4.